Hey, this is Coco Conway. I am a personal stylist and image consultant here in Austin. And usually I would be on here talking about fashion tips and what to wear. But tonight I wanted to do a book review on Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. If you have not read this book, you should. It's a nice sized book, and she has a lot of pictures through them going through the candidacy and her family. But past the pictures, the story is amazing. I really related to Michelle. I did not grow up poor. We grew up middle class, but the way she was raised, you couldn't tell. Um, it was her and her brother Craig, and they lived with their parents as well as her favorite uncle Southside and her aunt Robbie. She learned piano through her aunt Robbie, that used to teach a lot of the students that would come to the house how to play piano. She had a love for music because her uncle Southside would blast music through the whole house. He figured out how he could wire the entire house with music so that the first thing you heard when you got up in the morning was jazz. So she has a great love for music. She talks about not only the presidential candidacy, but she also talks about raising her children in the White House, her relationship with her husband, how she met him, the whole campaign. And I relate to her quite a bit because my husband ran for office here in Austin for city council, and I know how it is to be under the big eye in the sky, and everything that you do, people are watching, and then trying to make sure that you conform to what's going on around you without overstepping your boundaries, because it is a big deal. Like, she talks about when her husband was running, that she was preparing herself that he was going to lose. So she basically said, I'm going to get this story together on how I'm going to console him. But when he won, they had to shift really quickly. And in life, we have to do that on a regular basis. We have to shift into things that we're not always prepared for. So for me, I really related to her. I know our our running was not a presidential candidate. However, having to conform in some ways and be careful of the things that you say and the things you do. There's some things in here that she says, going from being told that she was an angry black woman because she stood for what she believed in, to being one of the most powerful women in the world. So you can't please everybody with no matter what you're doing. So I can relate to that as well. If you speak up for yourself, then you're angry. If you submit and you do this, that, and the other, then you're okay. But you never please one side or the other. She talks about raising her children in the White House, and how she wanted them to have some kind of normalcy, setting up dinner times every night, whether her husband could be there or not. She had to put them on a schedule in order for them to function efficiently in the world. She made sure that the staff did not clean their rooms, did not make up their beds, and she stayed on them nonstop about them having to make sure that they keep up the things that they need to, just like it was a normal house. I really commend her for, even though her living in the environment that she had, she was able to go to Ivy League schools and graduate and go on with her life as if those things never happened. And the other thing that I really I connected with her on was the fact that she would always say, "Is she good enough? Am I good enough to do this? Am I good enough to do that?" And she would question herself nonstop through the entire book. I want to read a few excerpts from the book that she wrote. Her father also suffered with sclerosis, and every day he would go to work and like nothing was happening to him. And even though he was in pain, he would still get up, go to work, because he knew he had to take care of his family. Her mother stayed at home and raised them, her and her brother Craig. But her dad kept moving on regardless of the pain that he was in. There's a part in the book where she, let's see, let me find it. And then the relationship with her husband Barack, when she talks about him coming into her life and being a whole person. She says Barack had arrived in my life as a wholly formed person. From our very first conversation, he's shown me that he wasn't self-conscious about expressing fear or weakness, and that he valued being truthful. At work, I witnessed his humility and willingness to sacrifice his own needs and one for a bigger purpose. That is important in relationships, that you come in whole, because if one person is broken, however, when one person is whole and the other person is in the process of getting there, it does help push the other person into who they are supposed to be. This book is so rich. There's so many things that I could talk about in here, but basically I didn't want to make this long. Get this book. I just went and saw her in person live at the Frank Irwin Center, and it was absolutely amazing. As real as this book is in the read, she's just as real in person. She got very emotional when she talked about them finally ending the presidency, and when she finally got on the plane at the end and they were flying off, she wept for 30 minutes. She wept because of the people that she got in contact with, who she connected with, all those people that she was around all the time, pouring into them and lifting them up. She wasn't going to be able to do those same things anymore and operate. And it was like almost like giving the baby away to somebody else. Well, you know where it is now. But I say all that to say is, get this book. It's an amazing read. Give it to your teenager, the young adults in your life. Everybody should have a copy of this. There's so many negative things out there that we could be, we're around, that we need to start putting these type of things in our children's hands, because you can see anybody dancing all over the stage half naked, but why can't we use her as an example of where we want to be and who we want to be in life and where we want to go? Some of us may not go to the top university. Some of us may become entrepreneurs, but we can still push past our fears of even doing this video, because this is my first one on YouTube. But I had to push past my fear. I love to talk, and I don't know why I was so nervous about doing this. But I say all that to say, go get a copy of Becoming. We all are becoming something in our lives. We all are trying to become a better person in our lives. That's all for tonight. See you next time.